Hey there guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. This time, all creatures of Pandora from Avatar explored. When Avatar the movie was released in the year 2009, people were awed by the insane graphics. The mesmerizing world of Pandora created by James Cameron sucked people in because of how fantastically the world had been built, starting from creating and designing new plants and animals, all indigenous to Pandora. While the blue alien species Na'vi was definitely the star of the show, the very many wondrous animals that appeared alongside them were the cherry on the proverbial cake. The new release, Avatar the Way of Water, has been just as overwhelming and fascinating as the first movie, and the stunning special effects have only gotten better. Some new aquatic creatures have also been added to the narrative, and in this video, we bring you a combined list of all the creatures seen in the Avatar universe so far. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Avatar The Way of Water stole the show with the underwater creatures. Avatar The Way of Water, the new title for Avatar 2, has been one of the most eagerly anticipated sequels of the 21st century. It might have been a long wait, but it's proven to be worth the patience, especially because of the visual treat that's been delivered. Here are some of the unique creatures that'll leave an impact on the audience. Tulkun. Tulkuns are basically whale-like creatures with 4 eyes and an incredibly intelligent mind. These creatures are easily the highlight among the various forms of aquatic life on show. They are gigantic and can grow up to 300 feet long, and these creatures can swim surprisingly fast despite their large sizes. Tulkuns mostly travel in pods, and they have a deep connection with the reef people, the natives of the coastal regions of Pandora. These creatures not only understand a basic form of sign language, but also act independently when required. One of the Tulkuns, named Payakan, has as much importance as the heroes in the narrative, and his intelligence will give you an idea about the actual capacity of these gentle giants. Skimwing. This large creature can be best described as a flying fish with a mouth like an alligator and swordfish. They are able to jump out of the water and fly at great speeds. The tail of this creature touches the water and propels it forward, and they have dual breathing systems that allow them to breathe underwater and also in the air. The Metkaina, or the reef people, have been using these as combat accessories, and these creatures prove to be very effective while fighting the threats. Only the best warriors of the clan can tame these beasts, and they're known to be quite temperamental. Skimwings are also used for hunting purposes during the times of peace. Just like dragons in Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon, Skimwings develop a loyal bond with their rider, and once chosen, these bonds often last a lifetime. They can go quite fast at over 60 miles an hour, and their endless stamina enables them to fly around without tiring.
Let's do it.
Ilu. The most appropriate description of Ilu is calling it a dire horse of the oceans. They are a semi-reptilian and semi-dinosaur looking creature, and their long neck will remind you of a plesiosaur. The Ilu are relatively easier to tame, and they can be dealt with even by the kids. They are intelligent creatures and almost domesticated like the dire horses in the forest-based Na'vi clans. Ilus have rudder-like tails, 4 eyes, and 6 flippers that allow them to be an excellent swimmer. Just like the other creatures, the bond between the natives of the land and the Ilus are worth savoring in this movie. Various forms of jellyfish and other sea creatures. The underwater world created by James Cameron is absolutely magical, and the sheer use of colors and detailing will leave you mesmerized. Apart from the creatures discussed above, there are also many other sea creatures that can be found in the oceans of Pandora. We've seen various types of fish and also certain forms of jellyfish. Some of these creatures actually have a strange glow, and a strange luminescent jellyfish-like creature is used by the reef people to breathe underwater. These creatures might not have a direct impact on the storyline, but they surely form an integral part of the vivid ecosystem underwater. Dire horse. One creature we often see alongside the Na'vi is this massive horse-like creature known as the dire horse. The dire horse is a hexapodal, bioluminescent creature that seems to be quite close to horses. Although the dire horse is 14 feet long and 13 feet tall, making it much closer in size to an elephant than it does horses when compared to earth animals. Its body is grey with blue stripes. Cameron and Stan Winston Studios are credited for the conception and design of this creature. The Na'vi break, or bond with a dire horse by attaching the fleshy tip of their hair to the animal's antennae in order to use it for hunting. This is known as a neural whip in xenobiology. The Na'vi rider and the neural interface can rapidly communicate motor commands once they're entangled. This connection does not, however, result in an exclusive, lifelong bond. The Na'vi used dire horses as their ideal war steeds, and they were essential in the ultimate conflict between the Na'vi and humans. Numerous clans, including the Olangi clan, attach a lot of importance to dire horses. Cameron described the creature as a six-legged extraterrestrial Clydesdale with antennae like moths. Dire horses are omnivorous, eating pitcher plant sap, small insects, and nectar from flowers with their long tongues. The dire horse also interestingly has 4 eyes, the smallest 2 of which feature horizontal goat-like pupils which are visible only upon closer inspection. Arachnoid. The arachnoid creature from Pandora that resembles a scorpion is the smallest creature in Pandora, as far as what we saw in the first film is concerned. According to studies conducted so far, Pandora is home to hundreds of creatures that resemble arachnids. If you were to see this creature, you'd probably try to avoid it. However, it turns out that, unlike scorpions, these creatures prefer to scuttle away when approached instead of attacking, which honestly is good news for everyone because it looks like one sting from these small beasts would hurt like hell. In order to strike successfully, an arachnoid must release its venom sac into the stinger canal by elevating its thorax. A Na'vi youngster or senior frequently die from an arachnoid sting if it goes untreated. While rare, it has also led to the deaths of Na'vi warriors during Uniltaron. In any event, it causes extreme pain. Many animals on Pandora have evolved poison immunity, allowing them to consume the animal without suffering any negative consequences. This explains why this ferocious arachnoid is so cautious. Only a few of the known Pandoran species have venom that is psychotropic. In the Uniltaron, or Dream Hunt ceremony, the Na'vi only use one of these. You guessed it, the arachnoid. As part of the process, an aspiring warrior must catch his or her own arachnoid, which is stored in a stone jar created expressly for the task. During the ritual, Na'vi elders press an arachnoid on the warrior-to-be's skin to cause a sting. This causes dreamlike hallucinations, which the Na'vi believe disclose the warrior's spirit animal and predict his or her future. Panopyra. A strange life form that resembles a jellyfish in some ways is the Panopyra. It bears no resemblance to any of the taxonomic plant groups that can be found on Earth and seem to represent a novel path in the evolution of the nervous system. This species lies in a transitional category between plants, animals, and fungi due to its sensory tissue and saprophytic lifestyle, which relies on dead creatures and degraded organic matter for nutrition. It's an epiphyte that frequently grows near other plants, occasionally high in the canopy. Stingbat. The stingbat is a little aggressive airborne predator with an advanced sense of direction. The skin of stingbats is usually purple-blue with brilliant yellow patterns. The stingbat's second pair of limbs, in contrast to most flying creatures on Pandora, have not developed into wings but rather into pincer-like arms that may attack both prey and predators. They have 4 golden eyes, and their skull and jaws feature noticeable crest structures. The stingbat also notably has translucent fangs and claws, with the wing membrane and body exhibiting the most bioluminescence. The stinger on the stingbat's tail resembles a scorpion. Despite having a highly developed visual navigation system, they lack natural survival mechanisms due to their small brain cavity and cerebral cortex. They frequently become prey for larger predators like the forest banshee due to their reduced brain capacity, yet their prolific breeding activities maintain a stable population. Stingbats are nocturnal creatures that spend the daytime sleeping upside down with their wings wrapped around them, like earthbats. They are omnivores and consume both plants and animals, but they like rodent-sized animals, lizards, and fruit. The stingbat typically hunts alone, but when faced with larger prey, such as a small hexapede, it'll swarm it with other stingbats. Interestingly, some Na'vi domesticate stingbats and keep them as pets despite their poisonous tail spines. In addition to perching on their owner's shoulder and eating fruit from their hands, they can be trained to respond to calls with clicks made with their tongue and teeth. Additionally, the Na'vi gather their tails for use as plectrums for their musical bows. Mountain banshee. On Pandora, a species of aerial carnivores called mountain banshees inhabited the mountainous regions. They are known technically as Pterodactylus giganteus and are distant relatives of the gigantic Leonopteryx. They are four-winged creatures with a biologically manufactured carbon fiber flexing on the skin, similar to the Leonopteryx and dire horse. Despite looking reptilian, the banshee possesses a bird-like metabolism that produces a lot of heat. Thus, they also feature a sophisticated cooling system to prevent overheating during demanding flights. The two main eyes of the banshee see in full color, largely along the same range as human eyesight. Smaller secondary eyes, which can move separately or in tandem with the primary eyes, are located behind the primary eyes. To hunt at night, they see in the near-infrared range. The banshee's design for the movie took the most work from creature designer Neville Page in order to make it look realistic when it soared or sat. The creator claimed that designing it flying with a Na'vi on top of it was the hardest part of all. They actually had to reverse engineer it, and the process resembled the engineering and design of an aircraft. Banshees are integral to Na'vi culture, and some Na'vi clans like Omaticaya have a deadly and necessary rite of passage for their warriors, bonding with a banshee and evolving into an Ikran Makto. Similar to the dire horse, a Na'vi can bond with a banshee via a neural interface, enabling the animal and rider to travel through the air seemingly effortlessly. A banshee forms a permanent link with a Na'vi warrior, bonding the two for a lifetime. The Hallelujah Mountains are home to the mountain banshee nesting area. Mons Veritatis, one of the biggest floating mountains, contains the largest rookery, which is also home to the largest specimens. It's located in grottos and outcrops on the sheer cliff walls, and it's here that the Na'vi come to pick and be chosen by a banshee for bonding. The tallest branches of Home Tree are where the bonded mountain banshees build their nests so that their Na'vi rider may easily access them. The banshees are sociable creatures that communicate regularly, making a lot of noise in rookeries and other public spaces. Because of their distinctive piercing shriek, banshees were given their name. Although this is just one of the banshee's many vocalizations, and it's believed to be a long-distance territorial call. Interestingly, because of their fish-like jaw features, all flying species on Pandora, including banshees, are believed to have descended from aquatic organisms. Tapirus. The tapirus fulfills the unfortunate role of serving as the ideal prey in a world full of excellent predators. It appears on the cafeteria menu and is the target of numerous inside jokes from Hell's Gate staff. The tapirus has flat, elephant-like feet and small stature. Its body is a light brown tint and its sides have subtle striped patterns. The tapirus has elevated, rising crest structures on its back that are emphasized with a vivid cyan color, and the upper half of its body is coated in purple armor plating for protection. The neural whips of the tapirus are mostly conspicuously found on the front of its face, attached to the upper half of a fleshy structure resembling a beak and forming the creature's snout. One of Pandora's rare, non-aggressive species is the tapirus. It can be seen traversing the plains and the edges of the forest during the day in small groups. For security, they group up in the jungle at night. Even though a tapirus isn't immediately hazardous, it should never be hurt without a reason, since its piercing cries may draw the attention of bigger and more deadly predators. Because they're sociable and simple to train, tapirus can often be found living contentedly alongside Na'vi villagers as pets. They might possibly be raised as a food source for the Na'vi or as a threat detection system. Hellfire wasp. The hellfire wasp resembles an ordinary earth wasp in shape, but is about the size of a sparrow. They're quite large insects, measuring 27 centimeters in height and 13 centimeters in wingspan. They also have compound eyes, a twin stinger, and a strong exoskeleton. Although they're typically seen flying alone, enormous swarms have also been seen. Humans on Pandora are advised not to approach swarms of hellfire wasps because they may perceive this as a threat and attack. They're highly visible at night thanks to bioluminescence, yet they can still strike even with forewarning. Using an olfactory organ, it detects the biochemistry of nearby creatures through its precise organic targeting system. It frequently attacks if it feels threatened because its flight becomes frantic and irregular. When struck by this insect with 2 stings, RDA employees are frequently given a few days of medical leave. It's theorized that an assault from a swarm of hellfire wasps would eventually result in death, despite being rarely fatal to humans and Na'vi. Thus, while their sting is painful unless a swarm is attacking, it rarely kills humans or Na'vi. Great Leonopteryx. Among the largest flying creatures on Pandora are Leonopteryx, the apex predator. Its scientific name is Leonopteryx rex, which roughly translates to winged king lion. The Leonopteryx held a prominent role in Na'vi mythology and tradition due to its fiery splendor and imposing stature. It's commemorated with dancing, music, and ornate totems that represent the respect and dread people have for the beast. To the Na'vi's feeling of destiny and interconnectivity, the Leonopteryx is undoubtedly essential. The Na'vi's name for this creature loosely translates to final shadow, since it prefers to attack from above, making its shadow the last thing its victim sees. The title Todok Makto, which translates to Rider of Last Shadow, is bestowed upon people in the Na'vi tradition that are successful in creating Saelu with the big Leonopteryx. The Na'vi view Todok Makto as a mythical figure who guides his people to triumph during difficult times. Neytiri informs Jake that the legend of Todok Makto is known to all Na'vi, which would account for the Omaticaya clan's immediate respect for Jake upon his return after becoming connected to and bonding with a powerful Leonopteryx. The Leonopteryx is a hypercarnivore that consumes mountain and forest banshees, with sporadic medusa encounters. The Leonopteryx will occasionally eat insects like hexapedes from the ground beneath the canopy of the jungle. It's a lone creature without any known natural adversaries. The Leonopteryx and the banshee share many similarities as far as their physical makeup is concerned. The Leonopteryx is usually red and yellow, with black stripes and blue crests on top of its head and under its lower jaw, though the crests can also be albinistic or green. Its head's crest is extremely sharp and can be used to cut through foliage, impeding flight, wound, or dismember prey. The creature had only been tamed 5 times before the events of the movie, and Jake is the 6th Todok Makto as a result. Fan lizard. On Pandora, there are tiny nocturnal animals called fan lizards. This unusual lizard first appears to be merely a boring, ruler-length reptile with few distinguishing traits. However, when disturbed, it spins away to safety with wings that spread out like a bioluminescent old Chinese fan. It transforms from unattractive to gorgeous in a split second before returning to its usual lizard appearance in the same instant. It makes sense that among the young Na'vi who enjoy this natural display of light and colors, the fan lizard is a favorite. A Na'vi youngster will always take the chance to disturb a bunch of fan lizards that are resting in a field of ferns by running through them and then watch in wonder as the glowing magenta and purple discs flutter to the safety of a neighboring branch. The distinctive big retractable disc on the back of fan lizards is well known. The design of this disc is reminiscent of the Da Vinci helicopter. This bioluminescent membrane, which is magenta and purple, is employed for fight as well as to fend off any assailants with its bright light display and abrupt growth. Be aware that as the fan lizard utilizes the appendage, the body spins along with it. Given the gravity of Pandora and the density of the air, the fan lizard's quick opening generates adequate angular momentum to produce lift, which both evacuates it from peril and startles any approaching predators. The lizard is also notably honored with an ancient dance that is traditionally performed by children. Hammerhead Titanothere. The hammerhead Titanothere is a gigantic herbivorous from Pandora that measures about 11 meters long, nearly twice as long as an elephant from Earth. They resemble hammerhead sharks in that they have low-slung heads with bony extensions on either side of the skull. These protrusions are frequently employed to push and demolish objects. One sideways thrust of the neck is all that is needed to bring down a large tree. This enormous grazing animal moves in herds or groups that are between 10 and 20 animals strong. Although it is largely social, it is also incredibly hierarchical and territorial. The hammerhead Titanothere's day is marked by frequent, loud, and visible threat displays, and a Titanothere will drop its head and charge toward the apparent threat when it's enraged. Hammerhead sharks will also raise a sizable fan of vividly colored feather-like skin flaps on the top of their heads when they want to avoid any fight. Many animals will typically flee as a result of this show, which is frequently followed by a loud roar. When a Thanator or Leonopteryx, which are the only known predators of hammerhead Titanotheres, attacks them, the hammerheads will come together to form a group, making them far scarier. Even more terrifying than a single enraged Titanothere is a group of them charging at a perceived threat. Hexapede. Hexapodal herbivorous animals resembling deer are called hexapedes in Pandora. They are striped with white and yellow on a predominantly dark blue skin. Their most notable feature is a thin, pattern membrane structure encased in twin horn structures. This pale fan-like protrusion sits atop their little sloping head. This fan has a design of eyes that resembles the eyes of insects. Along the length of the neck, a skin membrane hangs below the jaw. The hexapede's back is covered with twin rows of dark bristles that resemble hair. At the back of the head are the antennae. The hexapede retracts both lips and flares up its double membrane structure like a satellite dish in a warning show. Undoubtedly, some of Pandora's most exquisite and delicate species are hexapedes. Although they are a prime target for any terrestrial or aerial predator, their fast rate of reproduction prevents them from going extinct. The hexapede is a staple food for the Na'vi, and they hunt it as one of their main prey. They're also occasionally attacked by stingbat swarms. There doesn't seem to be much animosity among the gentle animals, either inside the herd or when a predator is around. Although they can weave, bob, and turn better than the best prey, they're only moderately quick runners. The latter aids in their survival on grasslands, but when they enter a forest in search of the food they crave, such as tree bark and different types of leaves and berries, this method is less successful because they have less area for movement. Last but not least, they're often the first animal that a young Na'vi warrior hunts down in a ritual first hunt. Prolmuris. Prolmuris are hexapodal blue creatures modeled after the lemurs of Earth. The two upper limbs on either side of their body are partially linked, and they have two eyes and tiny noses. They have a queue on the back of their heads, like the majority of Pandoran species. They also feature huge eyes and lateral skin membranes on each side of the body. They can also easily reach a height of 1.5 meters. The Prolmuris can move through the woods more quickly than an ordinary person can run by using its 4 arms. It can leap from branch to branch while picking out the ideal handhold from the woodland mosaic because of its nearly perfect balance and excellent depth awareness. It shares this trait with the Na'vi, who are also incredibly agile when moving through the canopy of a rainforest. While the Prolmuris have a relatively short attention span, they can be trained to execute simple tasks, just like dogs. They are a chatty, non-aggressive species of tree dweller that prefers the safe forest canopy to the hazardous forest floor. They live in big tribal groups in the woods, and while there are occasionally violent struggles within tribes to determine hierarchy, there are rarely conflicts between them. Despite not giving their offspring the same amount of attention or care as chimpanzees from the planet Earth, they are very social animals. However, the Prolmuris comes into mating season 3 times a year, making it a devoted and successful breeder. Thanator. The RDA considers the Thanator, a massive hexapedal land predator, to be the top terrestrial predator. Cameron personally created the beast, which is also referred to by the scientific name Bestia panthera ferox. Jake initially encounters the Thanator as he ventures into the jungle and touches several helicordian leaves, which withdraw to expose a group of hammerhead titanotheres in the background. The titanotheres are terrified by the Thanator, who is also after Jake. Jake later jumps down a cliff into a pool below to escape the Thanator. Its size, strength, and ability to terrorize other large and fierce terrestrial carnivores on Pandora make it unique among terrestrial carnivores. It resembles a panther, lion, or extinct Inos transivia on Earth. Even the Na'vi, who are famed for their bravery and hunting prowess, are alarmed by the creature. The hands of the Thanator's dark body are covered with white flesh. The Thanator is referred to by Cameron as the Panther from Hell, because it resembles a panther in appearance. 10 sensory quills on the Thanator are attached to 6 pads at the back of the skull, which flare up before the prey is attacked. The Thanator, according to the director, is the most terrifying creature on Pandora and could consume a T-Rex for dinner and serve the alien for dessert. The Thanator is thought to be a lone hunter that rarely leaves its home territory, which is thought to be a range of about 300 square kilometers. It seems to hunt primarily at night. However, it might make an exception if it's really hungry. It's safe to say that this creature should be avoided at all costs if you were to ever go to Pandora. Viper wolf. The viper wolf can be likened to a small wolf or hyena-like predator with 6 legs and a muscular, lean torso. The viper wolf has evolved to move quickly across great distances in search of prey. Due to their skill in hunting and pack mentality, very few predators will try to assault a viper wolf. When they spot prey, viper wolves nearly always travel in packs that can quickly coalesce into a highly cohesive hunting team. They lack hair and have glossy skin that resembles overlapping armor. The creature's paws, which resemble leathery hands, are particularly unsettling. Although ruthless in battle, they're tender and affectionate with their young. They have emerald eyes and are often seen during the day tending to their young. They also laugh in a way reminiscent of hyenas on Earth and have antennae like most other Pandoran species. They can climb trees and stalk prey from the ground thanks to their opposable thumbs, which also enable them to build a 3-dimensional hunting environment, not limiting them to land hunts only. Viper wolves are harmless to both Na'vi and humans, therefore each race evolved a strategy for avoiding them. Repulsor pods are used by the RDA to keep the animals at bay as they repair gaps in their security fences. To ward off the animals, the Na'vi have discovered a form of plant sap that mimics the fragrance of the slinger. cat ear. This one is a cross between a plant and an animal, making it a animal. The cat ear is a zooplante with a woody stem that is covered in modified leaves that resemble cat ears. Due to the sound made when the wind blows across the plant's leaves, the Na'vi collect these for use as both children's toys and musical instruments. This species possesses both plant and animal traits and is also musical and attractive. The plant stems are covered in cup-shaped leaves that resemble cat ears. A little flower develops inside the base of each cat's ear, and when it blooms, it resembles tiny whiskers. The size of the particular planimal affects the variation in the melody, which is created by wind moving over its leaves. When heard as a whole, the melody of the cat ear might sound like a miniature symphony. This planimal not only can make music, but it also has the amazing capacity to turn and follow the motion. The fact that the planimal turns in response to human presence during this tracking can make people feel as though they're being observed. Anemanoid. The anemanoid inhabits lakes and ponds. It resembles an invertebrate and has tiny, poisonous tentacles for eating. Bioluminescence in a variety of soft hues. Bioluminescence draws little fish into tentacles where they're consumed. The anemanoid-lined streams and densely forested ground illuminate Pandora's nighttime surroundings. Tetrapteron. The tetrapteron is a species of flamingo-like birds that, until one realizes that it has 4 wings, 2 on either side, almost resembles an earth bird. The tetrapteron also has an unusual dual tail that it uses to balance its weight while hunting or landing. They typically go on hunts in flocks, and these appear to be the most cooperative animals on Pandora, both while hunting and interacting with one another. While many predators on Pandora care for their young, none give their young as much time and attention as tetrapterons do. They are carnivores, and their main source of food is fish. Tetrapterons can be either aquatic or arboreal. Although they look similar, aquatic birds have longer necks and legs because they live in wetlands. Tetrapterons have a huge beak, a gullet with glassy teeth, 2 sets of wings, a twin tail, and all of these features. They have wings that extend around 1.5 meters. Tetrapteron can detect movements as little as 1.25 centimeters from a height of 45 meters, thanks to their outstanding long-distance eyesight. Being an aerial predator, the capacity for long-range vision is crucial for fish hunting. Ostripede. A hybrid of an ostrich, a pink flamingo, and the herbivorous dinosaur Parasaurolophus, the ostripede is a species from Pandora. The ostripede has a long, flat beak, a flat tail that extends to its feet, and yellow-orange skin with subtle purple stripes. The wings of the ostripede have been reduced to tiny vestigial appendages, unlike some of the other Pandoran birds and its close relative, the great ostripede. A large portion of its height is made up of its legs and neck. When alarmed, ostripedes flap their wings. The moods of the impulsive, restless ostripedes quickly pass from one ostripede to the next through a type of mimicking. Thus, if one of them is alarmed, rest assured, all of them will get alarmed. Ostripedes, which are quite small by Pandoran standards, often pose minimal threat to other creatures and occasionally show fondness to Na'vi. Great Ostripede. Certain Na'vi clans have the ability to tame and use the great ostripede as a mount. It is a bipedal, flightless bird-like creature that lives in the Pandoran savanna and resembles the emu, ostrich, or the extinct Orosrasids. The long-clawed fingers at the tips are used for hunting and engaging in combat with rivals. It has dark grey skin with blue-grey stripes on its torso and yellow markings on its wings. Great ostripedes are larger overall and have a minor height advantage over their genetic cousin, the ostripede. They initially show up in Toruk, the First Flight, a musical. They are visually stunning creatures, and the contrast on their bodily marking is remarkable, making it impossible to take your eyes off them. Wood Sprite. The wood sprite is a creature from the holy tree, also known as the seed, and it resembles an aerial jellyfish in appearance. They are incredibly pure spirits, according to Neytiri, who smacks Jake for shooing 2 of them away. Furthermore, wherever these seeds decide to rest, it is thought to be auspicious. They resemble tiny deep-sea jellyfish in size, but they float on the wind like dandelion seeds, perhaps because of Pandora's thicker atmosphere. Wood sprites are significant in rituals as well. One of these seeds is placed on the body of a departed Na'vi by the Omotikaya clan, so that the Na'vi's consciousness will merge with Awa. They frequently congregate in places with mystical significance, like the Cavern of Songs, and are regarded as the bringers of omens. These are probably the prettiest creatures to look at, and the fact that they're so delicate adds to their beauty. Tercipede. Last but not least, we have an aquatic creature known as the turtipede. The turtipede is a species from Pandora that looks like a hybrid of a turtle, platypus, and starfish. The turtipede is nimble in the water thanks to its long tail and big dorsal fin. Amazing colors begin to sparkle in the translucent section of its shell as it emerges from the sea. exploring the indigenous species or the Na'vi population in Pandora. To round off this list, we're taking a quick look at the Na'vi, a species also indigenous to Pandora. The cyan-skinned humanoid species that resides on Pandora, the moon of the gas giant Polyphemus, are known as the Na'vi. Their name literally translates as the people in Na'vi. According to James Cameron, his mother's dream of a 12-foot-tall blue woman served as the source of his inspiration for the Na'vi appearance. He later used the inspiration from the dream to create an alien species in a mid-70s script, and clung to the idea for more than 30 years before finally bringing Avatar to life. The only extraterrestrial race that has been found to be as intelligent as humans is this one. The Na'vi are extremely intelligent and have created a refined culture based on a deeply spiritual linkage to other life on their moon, each other, and an all-encompassing goddess they call Awa. Despite being hunter-gatherers with technology comparable to Earth's Paleolithic epoch, the Na'vi are quite advanced. The Na'vi try to live in complete harmony with their surroundings, only taking what they need to survive. This is Awa's will. The 3 laws of Awa, also known as the Na'vi Way, unite all Na'vi, even though each clan has its own distinctive culture with a rich history, art, music, and clothing code. These regulations establish severe guidelines for what is acceptable in Na'vi civilization and account for a large portion of their lack of technological advancement. In terms of technical advancement, their lifestyle is a choice made to preserve their natural equilibrium, leaving them to resemble humans during the Neolithic period. Despite the Na'vi being regarded as a single species by biologists, they exhibit a level of diversity and morphological variation that is comparable to that of domestic dogs on Earth and exhibit signs of rapid adaptation to a wide range of settings. The Metkayina clan, a marine tribe of Na'vi, is an illustration of this. They have adapted to an aquatic lifestyle by growing fin-like arms and legs, broad tails with paddle-like shapes, greener skin with more watery stripes, and blue-green eyes. It's uncertain how many different Na'vi races there are. The numerous Na'vi tribes are highly influenced by earthly customs despite being an alien race. Paul Frommer, a professor of linguistics at USC, constructed the 2,600-word Na'vi language, utilizing sounds and words from a variety of indigenous American and Polynesian languages, as well as Maori, Khoisan, and Inuit. The aesthetics of the Na'vi are influenced by the tribal civilizations of sub-Saharan Africa and the Amazon. A few examples of Earth-inspired tools are knives, hammocks, lanterns, and bows and arrows. The Na'vi clans of Pandora share many cultural traits, yet they are distinguished by their environments and clan ideals. The diverse range of creatures makes Pandora such a magical alien land, and you can expect nothing short of excellence from James Cameron, who does justice to your expectations even in the new movie. Do check out Avatar: The Way of Water and let us know about your favorite creatures from the list. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.